Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Christmas Eve, and here in the Banana Belt, otherwise known as Southern California, we're back to kind of the endless summer. We had a day of rain, one whole day, and some thunder and some lightning, and that was it. Half an inch of rain, and we're gone. The rest of the nation is having an actual winter. Not so much here. So anyway, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you're safe. Hope you're indoors. Hope you're warm, dry, or in touch with your sunblock if you live out in my area. All right. Hey, today we're going to talk about clarinet versus saxophone. Clarinet versus saxophone. I've gotten some questions about should I start on clarinet before I learn to play saxophone, and I'm here to answer that for you. But first I want to talk about private lessons with moi. That's French for me. Moi. I know. Hey, it's Christmas Eve. Give me a break here, all right? We're doing them on Zoom, and I have some openings in the new year. I'll still allow the deep discount for December to apply. DGM-12 is your December deep discount code. Reach out for more information. DaveGoodSax@gmail.com. DaveGoodSax@gmail.com. How I do this is I'll set up a phone meeting first. Okay, once you contact me, you reach out, say, yeah, I want to do this. Then we'll set up a phone meeting, and I want to find out where you are relative to where you want to be. Okay, and then I want to think about if I can help you. Now, if I can be of service, I will. You know it will. And we'll work out a lesson so that we don't burn any daylight trying to figure all that out on your dime, okay? So I'll figure that out before we sit there. And then when we Zoom, we get together for an hour and we chop it up. We work on stuff, all right? And that's just how it goes. And I would love to meet more of you. I'm so grateful for those of you who have decided to take private lessons with me. Zooming with Dave is it's if it's what we have, it's what we have. If you don't live in Southern California, then it's what we got to do, right? It's not good for beginners, all right? If you're a beginning horn player, you just got a horn for Christmas, or you're getting a horn for Christmas, or you're getting your first horn, I want you to get a teacher that's in your area, and I want you to sit down with them, and I want you to study with them. There's so many things that a person, a skilled teacher needs to see in the very beginning when you're starting to make noise and turn that into tone, that we can't really, I just have found that Zoom just doesn't work for beginners. You get a little time under your belt, come on around and we'll help you out. But this is really, Zoom is, at least my Zoom lessons are better for intermediate to advanced level players, right? DGM-12 is your deep discount code for December. Hello. And more information at davegoodsax@gmail.com. All right. I'll have that in the comments below. Hey, if any of this stuff helps you, please hit that subscribe button or the love button or whatever. The YouTube folks tell me that that's what helps me to help you to keep this channel alive. So anyway, clarinet or saxophone? Should I learn to play clarinet before I learned to play saxophone? It's a question. I've heard that one time too many, so I thought, well, let's make a little session out of that. And the answer is no. You don't have to learn how to play clarinet in order to play the saxophone, all right? And there's a couple things going on here that you ought to know about. One is the embouchure is a little bit different, okay? The clarinet points straight down to Mother Earth, okay? And your embouchure as such is going to be a little bit different. A lot of clarinet teachers advise a little lip rolling so that your lower teeth are covered. We don't like to do that on the saxophone. The saxophone, your embouchure is an airtight seal, just like on the clarinet, but you're pointing straight out. Not like a clarinet that's going straight down, or a bass clarinet. Again, that angle is interesting too. I've owned both. I've played both for years, and I gave them away to students over the years because I decided that I wanted to focus on the one thing. I really want to be an expert at the one thing. And how many hours in the day are there to practice your flute and your clarinets and your saxophones? So there you go. That's my quick answer. So yes, I did play clarinet. I came to it afterwards so that I could, teach a little bit. But like I just said, the disclaimer, I don't own those instruments anymore. I just have the saxophones. And so where are we going to go here? Clarinet, though, those of you who play clarinet and you move to saxophone tend to be better saxophone players. No, there I said it. Why is that? Well, because the clarinet has close tolerances. Think about that thing. It's got very close tolerances. In other words, you've got to close those open tone holes. Clarinets have open tone holes, and you've got to close them precisely. And you have to close them at the same time. And if there's just a millisecond difference or a millimeter, you're a millimeter off in closing a tone hole, the clarinet squeaks like a goose. And that, you don't want that, no. So people who play clarinet have learned to play within those close tolerances, and they have better fingering skills. Now, I had one free lesson with my Conn alto sax, not the same Conn, different Conn. Same company, but a different era. I had a Conn Shooting Star when I was 11 years old. This is a Conn 6M that's older even than I am. So anyway, I got one free lesson, and the rest of the lessons came from the band teacher, for better or for worse. And I developed a number of really just habits that don't serve. Your clarinet guys and gals, all right, what do I say guys first? I know how sexist. Clarinet players, okay, have learned to close the keyhole, not with the fat part of the finger, not with the tip of the finger, but just right past the tip. That little area right there, okay? That's where you want to be with your saxophone as well, okay? One of my students called the way that you should hold or form your hand, your grips on the saxophone, is Lego hands. Like, see that little, that kind of forms a C, doesn't it? But Lego hands, like the plastic toy that, where the hands are kind of like, they don't move around, they're just at that one shape. Lego hands, brilliant. And you want to have your, in the best possible world, your fingertips, your hands curved around all of this business, and your finger, again, the same part, not really the tip, but just behind the tip that you would use to close the clarinet keyholes, right? Just like that, just right there like that. Do I do that? No, I'm fat finger. I'm lazy. I'm fat finger boy. I play like this, right? I reach over the pearl and I touch the brass. I know. That's not so good, is it? No. Does it cause problems? Probably when it comes to speed. So a happy hand is a curved hand. And you learn that when you play clarinet. Okay, the other thing about clarinet is that it's a straight bore. What I mean is like it's a tube, it's one size from the mouthpiece on down to until you get to the little flare out of the bell. That's one tube, and there's a little bit of pushback from that. So your wind might be a little more developed when you sit down to play the saxophone. Wind is so important, right? The saxophone is kind of a weird duck in the world of musical instruments, right? We start small, but we get big, baby, big, right? This is kind of like an amplifier. Clarinet, does it get loud? Yeah, not really, unless you're playing down, like second line stuff in New Orleans and really shout, really hold that thing. I mean, yeah, you can really punch, but basically your orchestral, your concert band, that sort of application. Clarinet's not really a loud instrument. It's pointed down, it's got that barrel, and you've got to push that air through, and you've got to be really very good at that, okay? So you've got a number of issues. Let me think about, there's a wicked exchange from A, oh my God, A to B, not low B, not top B, but middle B, middle A to middle B, octave B. Oh my God, that's a big bunch of mess. If you play clarinet, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Your A is like basically A finger, and B is kind of like our D. So you're slapping down you're closing a lot of open tone holes. And that's what the clarinet player learns how to do. The clarinet player learns how to do that. And that translates very well to the saxophone. Now the saxophone fingering and the clarinet fingering are not the same. Moreover, it's like when I was learning clarinet, I was always thinking in saxophone language. I was always thinking, and I got better at that after a while. It was sort of like, having English as a second language, I suppose. But I think, would it hurt you to pick a clarinet? Would it hurt you to pick up a clarinet now and start playing? Well, let's see. What do you want to accomplish? I mean, if that's where you would like to go with this whole exploration of your music, not mine. You can't do it the way you got to do it your way. And if you're playing saxophone, but you think clarinet's a voice that you'd like to add, by all means, man, why not? Pick it up. They make beautiful, beautiful sounds, right? Beautiful tone, beautiful range. Clarinet's got a lovely range. And it's, might even be fun. It might even inform your saxophone playing in ways that you hadn't thought. I think that clarinet did not work that way for me. And I think it took away from what I wanted. My personal gig was I wanted to get better. I want to continually improve at saxophone. And I realized saxophone is, I'm never going to be a master at it, right? I'm never, ever going to master this instrument. So I thought, well, I think I'm going to spend all my time on the saxophone and with saxophone students. So that's why I made the change. It's not because clarinet sucks or it's weird or, any of that. Clarinet's a beautiful instrument, and by all means, but you don't have to start on clarinet in order to be a saxophone player. And to close things up in a nice and just wrap a little bow around things. Yeah, I think the clarinet kids that I've had that have gone on to, grab an alto sax upstream have been better sax players than people that just start on the saxophone. They've learned how to blow. They've learned how to embouchurize. They've got that whole reed thing down. Embouchurize. I just made up a word. That is such BS. Forget I said that, okay? So anyway, Zoom lessons. I got space for you. DGM-12 for your deep discount in the month of December, okay? I've got a little room left, and I'd love to meet with you if you have something that you'd like to work on and you're at the intermediate or intermediate advanced level. Give me a shout, davegoodsax@gmail.com, all right? All of you, please enjoy. Do great work. Practice, play. Love your saxophone. Enjoy the process of making music, all right? I mean, that's what it's all about, right? Do good work, keep in touch, and I wish each and all of you a Merry Christmas. That dates this lesson, but so what? Hey, I gotta go. Talk to you later.